President Biden giving his speech last night, farewell address. He's doing his interview today. Harris and her husband were in the Oval Office, sitting there with Joe Biden and Hunter's wife for the farewell speech. They're going to be at the Pentagon together today. There's a Wall Street Journal story today which puts in print what's been kind of buzzed about for a while, that Kamala Harris is upset that Joe Biden keeps saying he would have won. In addition, the Wall Street Journal story says, following up on the New York Times story yesterday, or the New York Post story yesterday, that they just report as fact that she and her husband plan to split time between California and New York after she leaves office. NBC News reporting that she's probably or definitely going to write a book. Okay. So there's lots going on with the two of them. Regarding the speech, I'll tell you what John Podhoretz said. And again, I'm reading his text with permission. John said, serious question, was Biden's speech last night the worst speech ever delivered by a president? Pretty close. Then he says, the first half was by ChatGPT. The second half was like reading a USA Today column by Al Newhart in 1987. Some of you will find that hilarious, and some of you have no idea what it means. Trust me, it's hilarious. Speech was horrible. And I mean, when I was thinking about how we talk about it, I don't think there's anything good to say about that speech, except that thank goodness it wasn't longer. But I warned you both, you're going to have to say something nice. Did I steal yours, Sean?
Yeah, I was going to say the only thing good about it was 17 minutes.
All right, Dan, what can you say good about the President Biden's speech?
He did wish Trump well, and that's admirable.
Not really.
No,
Pro
he did.
forma.
He did.
Pro
He said, I wish
forma
him the best.
Yeah, okay.
But can I just, Mark, I want to say this just as an overarching statement. He had 52 years in politics. This is a man who could have gone out trying to, as an elder statesman. Through my time, I've seen this. I've been able to do these things. I did this on civil rights and the LBGT. I mean, kind of what we've been talking about in verbal form. All of the, I pardon people who and given them a second chance at life. It's the American way, blah, 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 blah. Instead, it was like oligarchs are coming. And I mean, I was thinking to myself, really, the oligarchs that you awarded the Medal of Freedom to, the oligarchs, Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos, who were cool with you up until a week ago when they sucked up to Trump. I mean, it reeked of hypocrisy. I literally kept thinking to myself, there are literally no speechwriters left there. The same people who coordinated the Dem response to Pete Hegseth's hearing wrote that speech. It was horrible.
Horrible. We're gonna have trouble being positive. We're supposed to be forward-looking, and I'm still wondering if he's gonna do pardons. But here's what I will say, and this is how I'm making it forward-looking. The part of the speech that infuriates me is what he said about big tech is a view shared by tens of millions. And I'm somewhat sympathetic to it. Where has he been? He's been president for 4 years. Now, it made me think, and I don't know the answer, maybe somebody on here did. Did Eisenhower speak up against the military-industrial complex before he left? Did he fight it? I don't know. My guess is not. But there's, his agencies did a little bit. But if this is an existential threat to the United States, forget George Soros. Where has he been? Every so often, he took a shot at Zuckerberg. Every so often. But there should have been a war room set up if this is such an existential problem. Dan.
Man, to all those in the chat who say I need to speak more and interrupt more, you've stole every one of my points, which is that in addition to being dark, it was inauthentic. I mean, that to me is what, yes, Eisenhower had begun to speak out about the challenges of the military-industrial complex. Teddy Roosevelt, wailed against the barons his whole entire presidency. There was almost oligarchs, that tech is too big. Disinformation, he mentioned a little bit the last 6 months, but it sounded like Bernie Sanders wrote it all of a sudden, that it was a speech to the DNC of where you should go in the future. So, I mean, to me, that just, it was, in addition to being dark, it was just so inauthentic. And to Sean, to your point, that is not who Joe Biden was.
That's right. I mean,
he was the lovable guy with the aviators, the Corvette, the happy warrior to the middle class from Scranton. Yeah, he was prickly. He had an Irish temper and stuff. But this kind of dark version of himself has just been really present the last 2 years. And it's sad.
I mean, this guy prides himself on his union work. I mean, again, this is a consistent theme the last several months. Missed opportunities.
Totally agree.
I mean, to Mark's point, I tweeted this out last night. Did he forget that he was president for the last 4 years? Where has this outrage been? But again, I'm thinking to myself, the prelude to this was he's been in office for 5 decades. This is not, he's going to give his capstone thing. And it was sort of like, hey guys, Joe here. I'm out. Everything sucks. I was I was just shocked that
And the whole democracy thing in the beginning, too, it's like we just had the election. We just like, why go back to this again?
right.
Like,
I mean, but what? Yeah, that was my thing. Is that what about democracy? We all just went out and voted. Yeah, you
Yep.
lost, and yeah, they're sucking up to Trump. That's democracy, bro. I mean.